The research station on Kepler 442b hummed with its usual mechanical rhythm, a symphony of life support systems and atmospheric processors that had become white noise to Luis over the past 6 months. He shuffled through the narrow corridor toward the shared bathroom, exhausted from a double shift calibrating the quantum communication array. The diplomatic mission had been grueling, and all he wanted was a hot shower before collapsing into his bunk. Eva had been his roommate for 3 weeks now, a tiny ambassador from the Vorentine coalition, barely reaching his knee in height. Her people were fascinating, diminutive beings with luminescent skin that shifted through pastel hues depending on their mood. The Vorentine had made first contact with humanity only a year ago, and Eva was part of the cultural exchange program, studying human engineering techniques while teaching the station crew about Vorentine biotechnology. Luis had grown fond of her quirky mannerisms, the way she hummed ancient Vorentine melodies while working, how she insisted on adding bioluminescent moss to every corner of their shared quarters, and her infectious enthusiasm for earth coffee, which she consumed in thimble-sized portions. He reached for the bathroom door handle, his mind foggy with fatigue. The standard protocol was to check the indicator light, but weeks of routine had made him careless. The door slid open, steam billowed out, carrying with it the scent of Vorentine cleansing salts, something between lavender and ozone. And there, in the center of the compact shower stall, was Eva, except it wasn't Eva as he knew her. Luis froze, his hand still on the door panel, his breath catching in his throat. The being before him stood nearly 6 feet tall, her form no longer the compact, childlike figure he'd grown accustomed to. Her body was elegant and statuesque, with long, graceful limbs and flowing contours that seemed to defy conventional geometry. Her skin still held that characteristic Vorentine luminescence, but now it cascaded across her frame in waves of deep azure and violet, creating patterns that seemed to tell stories in a language older than words. Her face, previously round and cherubic, had transformed into something hauntingly beautiful. Sharp cheekbones, eyes that swirled with galaxies of color, and features that seemed to shift subtly with each passing moment, as if her true form existed partially outside normal space-time. Most striking were the crystalline structures that emerged from her shoulders and spine, refracting the bathroom light into prismatic displays across the walls. They pulsed gently with her breathing, each pulse sending ripples of bioluminescent energy through her entire form. Luis, Eva's voice rang out, deeper and more resonant than her usual cheerful chirp, yet unmistakably hers. The swirling colors on her skin flashed crimson. Embarrassment, he realized. She grabbed a towel, though it seemed absurdly small against her true form. I'm so sorry, Luis stammered, backing out quickly. The door hissed shut between them, leaving him standing in the corridor, his heart hammering against his ribs. His mind raced. Everything he thought he knew about the Vorentine had just been shattered. The Coalition's diplomatic files had never mentioned this. The cultural briefings had shown the Vorentine as they appeared in their compressed form. Small, non-threatening, almost cute. Perfect ambassadors to ease humanity into the reality of alien contact. 20 minutes later, Luis sat at their small dining table, 2 cups of coffee steaming between empty chairs. When Eva finally emerged from the bathroom, she was back in her compact form, her skin a muted gray. Shame. Luis had learned. I suppose an explanation is necessary, Eva said quietly, hovering onto her chair. Even her voice had returned to its usual higher pitch. Luis nodded, unsure of what to say. Eva sighed, a very human gesture she'd picked up. My people, we compress ourselves when we travel to other worlds. It's partly biological, partly technological, a survival mechanism that evolved over millions of years. We learned that being small, being perceived as harmless, kept us safe in a dangerous universe. But why not tell us the truth? Luis asked, his voice gentle despite his shock. Because humanity was so young, so volatile when we first made contact, Eva explained, her colors shifting to a thoughtful teal. Your species had barely left your solar system. You were still processing the reality that you weren't alone. The Coalition psychologist determined that meeting us in our true form would be overwhelming, possibly threatening. She looked up at him with those large eyes. Now Luis understood they were compressed too, simplified versions of something far more complex. We've seen it before with other species. First contact is delicate. Fear breeds violence. We wanted humanity to see us as friends first, not as potential conquerors or threats. Luis absorbed this, taking a long sip of his coffee. The initial shock was fading, replaced by a deep curiosity and, strangely, a sense of honor. You trust me enough to let me see your real form. Eva's colors brightened to a warm gold. The compression field malfunctions in high humidity sometimes. I didn't mean for you to see, but... She paused, her tiny form seeming to gather courage. Perhaps it's time. You've been kind, Luis, patient. You've treated me as an equal, not as a curiosity or a pet. That's rare, even among your most diplomatic people. How many humans know, Luis asked, about our true forms? Perhaps a dozen in your entire species. High-level diplomats, a few xenobiologists, and now you. She smiled. That expression translated perfectly across forms. The Coalition plans to reveal the truth within the next year. Humanity has proven itself more adaptable than we anticipated. You're ready? Luis leaned back, a slow smile spreading across his face. You know what the crazy thing is? I'm not afraid. I'm amazed. Your true form is... Eva, you're beautiful. Both versions of you. The colors on Eva's skin exploded into a brilliant display of pinks and golds. Joy, Luis realized. Pure joy. This is why humanity fascinates us, Eva said softly. Other species reacted with fear or aggression when they learned the truth. But you see beauty in the revelation. You adapt. You accept. She paused, her colors settling into a warm amber. This is why the Coalition believes humanity will be extraordinary partners in the galactic community. You don't just tolerate difference, you celebrate it. Luis raised his coffee cup. To honest friendships regardless of size or form. Eva lifted her thimble-sized cup, clinking it against his. To humanity, she said. May you never lose that remarkable ability to see wonder instead of threat. As they sat together in the humming station, separated by a vast gulf of evolutionary history, yet connected by genuine friendship, Luis understood something profound. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their determination. It was their capacity to look at the truly alien and choose connection over fear. The universe, he realized, was far stranger and more beautiful than anyone had told him, and he couldn't wait to see what other revelations awaited.